Like, I did not see that coming at all. All right, people, we're just diving on in episode 2. The title of this episode was The Man with the Umbrella. And this was the episode where, yeah, there were a ton of emotions in this episode, man. There were a ton. I think this was the episode that made it real for me. And it settled in my head that these are real people. But let's just dive on in. Where we left up in episode 1, the next batch of the first people in line, we're going into the game hall in order to decide which candies their lines will be doing. The shapes are circle, star, triangle, and umbrella. Nobody wants umbrella, obviously. So 289 and 454 are fighting not to get umbrella at this point. Both hands are on the star, if I remember correctly. Their vote was undecided because they couldn't all agree, so all 4 were eliminated. The player count is now 188, and the prize money moves up to 2.68 million. The next 4 players would have to go in and make this decision. Now, 299, who was number 4, was extremely anxious. Unfortunately, he was going to be going up against 432. And we all know that 432 is a big character who speaks his mind. And so, we know it's not going to be an easy ride for them. 299 starts weeping. Like, he was crying. They cut to his one-on-one interview. And honestly, this guy just starts relaying his life. And I'm just like, God, you just know that this boy was bullied all of his life, and he's probably still being bullied right now. He's a full-grown man. He has his own job and everything, but he definitely struggles with a lot internally, and I felt horrible for him. He made me sad this episode. I'm not gonna lie, he made me sad. So they end up going in, and 432 immediately targets 299 because he knows that he's the weakest link. He knows, and everybody else targets him as well because they found the weak link. And they know that that's how they're going to get what they want. 299 then goes on this speech and says, if I choose the umbrella, you guys all have to help each other. And that once somebody is done, help another person. And I'm looking at him saying, did you not watch the show? Did you not watch the actual original show before you signed up for this game? Nobody is allowed to help anybody in this game. Have you not seen that? Anywho, he doesn't have a choice. He takes the umbrella, and his line is pissed off. People are raging and they're angry. Because they all know that the umbrella is about to wipe a ton of people out. It is then announced that the players cannot assist others in the game. So 299 looks even worse than he already did. He was so upset that he almost started puking. Like, he had a physical reaction to being so nervous and so anxious about the whole thing that he was gagging. Like, you could hear it. And at that point is where I was like, okay, this is bad. Like, this is bad. This guy honestly this was not the show for him. He maybe should have tried like a Love Island, or no, not a Love Island, a Love is Blind, or something else. This was not the show to try and build confidence. Not at all. I felt bad for him. I really did. So the circle line goes first, and they're very excited because everybody knows that circle is one of the easier ones. Honestly, for me, this game, I know umbrella is hard, but they're all hard. It just comes down to strategy and how you do it. That's what I think. I know the umbrella one is hard, but honestly, they're all hard because all it takes is one crack, one chip, and you're done. They have 10 minutes to get their perfect shape out. And the time starts. So everybody's licking because everybody has seen the show. So everybody's licking left, right, and center. People are starting to pass. And then people are also getting eliminated one by one. 302 passes first, Mama group. And the last minute her son passes. I think he had 40 seconds or 30 seconds left on the clock. 141 also passed with 2 seconds left. He was shaking so much. From the beginning he got the tray, he was like this. And I don't understand how his shaking hands were able to extract that circle. But he passed, so good on him. Next was triangle. And obviously they were absolutely excited for their pick. 432 was their leader in this one. People start getting eliminated and people were also passing. Star shape is next. And 134 is on this crew. So she was one of the main focuses for this round. and she's trying to work hers and she ends up breaking it. And I wrote karma. It got her, and it got her good. I felt bad for her though. She has such an innocent looking face, but I think you gotta be careful around this one. She's scary. I felt bad for her because it's a chance at $4.56 million just going down the drain. I mean, everybody could use that money right now. So it was still bad, but I knew that karma was going to get her eventually. And then the winners returned to the dorm, just like the other winners. The umbrella is of course last, and everybody is just snarking at 299. They're calling him names. I didn't appreciate that. It's a game. If he hadn't picked it, somebody else would have picked it. Like, just be upset about the situation, but you don't have to call him names, People are calling him idiot, loser. It was bullying. It was just bullying, and I get you're upset, but just be upset in the corner. You don't have to lash out, I mean, the truth is, if you're going to pass, you were going to pass regardless. So somebody's choice didn't really affect well, maybe. I just didn't like the name calling, which just made him more anxious, and it made him keep having puking episodes. It was just a lot for this poor guy. Honestly, this was not his episode. The game begins, and 299 has a river of saliva in his tin. Honestly, thinking about it makes me want to puke. To be honest, it was just so much, and I was like, was he just standing there gathering saliva to pour into this? I want to throw up. He had a lot in there. No, moving on. So people are passing, people are getting eliminated. I think the eliminations are also wearing on his nerves because he's like, oh, it's my fault they're getting eliminated. And he tries and rushes and ends up breaking his umbrella. Poor guy. I actually wanted him to pass just so it could shut up the people, that were like bullying him a little, but it didn't work out for him. His squid goes off and he's eliminated. 319, who has been like a silent killer from the beginning. I noticed her from the beginning. She's very quiet, and she seems like a strong player to me. She passed right on the buzzer. Like, the bell went off when she lifted it up and said, here. That was really cool though. So the winners return to the dorm. Food is served. The results are announced. From 188, we went down to 119. 69 people were eliminated in this round. As prize money went up from 2.68 to 3.37 million. Then the security guys bring in a telephone, and we all know they're about to play a psychological game. And they just put it right there in front of everybody. Someone picks up the bloody phone without even, like, there were no instructions. They just go and pick up the phone. And it's like, have you guys not seen the series? Have you not seen the original series? You don't do anything if you're not instructed to. Now, there were no consequences for their actions, but it's just stupid to me. Like, it's like putting a red button on the wall and everybody's like first instinct is to push it. Not in Squid Game. Then the phone rings and 198 was waiting. He was lurking, this guy. Someone did that. Just looking at him, I would not trust him. Honestly, he has shifty eyes. On a personal level, I will not trust him in real life. Anyways, he was just lurking there waiting because his intention was that he wanted to get rid of 432 because 432 had kind of bullied him earlier on and he'd called 432 a frat boy. So it's the geeks versus the jocks. That's what it was kind of playing down to. Anyways, he was lurking. As soon as the phone rang, he picks it up. He's going to be given an opportunity to enjoy a treat. It's burger and fries. So he wasn't really happy about it. He wanted an opportunity to eliminate somebody. Anyways, they give him the burger and fries and people just swarm. He is mobbed. And in a blink of an eye, the food is dispersed. 97 got a whole burger. He had 2 on the tray. She got a whole burger and walked away and ate that thing clean. Like, it was really, it was interesting the way they all swarmed him, to be honest. Like, it started real nice and then one hand reached in and then 70 hands were reaching into that tray and snatching the food. 198 didn't really care. Anyways, the phone rings again and 198 answers again. He's then told that he's at risk for being eliminated. And I was like, good. Why would you pick it up a second time? Like, what did you think was going to happen? He must either convince another player to accept the phone from him and pick it up, or he's going to be eliminated. So obviously he's screwed. People first ran over to be close to him, but as soon as they saw his face, they kind of like just backed off and nobody wanted to talk to him. And that was where episode 2 ended. So episode 3 starts, title of episode 3 is War, and it starts at 198. He almost convinced 2 people to grab the phone from him, but their friends like dragged them away. It's like, don't trust him, he's a serpent. Time was up. He had 2 minutes to do it. Time was up, and so he was walked out. He was eliminated. Player count went down to 198. Prize money went up to 3.38 million. Bedtime rolls in, and then the next morning, players are assuming that the next game was going to be tug of war, and so they are all freaking out and strategizing. For me, I don't know why I didn't think that it was going to be tug of war. For some reason, I just was like, I don't think it will be tug of war. I don't know what it was. And that's why I wrote it down the way I did, where I said players were assuming. I just felt like it wasn't, even though everything led to the fact that it was going to be tug of war, you know? So the bros are running laps, you know, trying to do strengthening training. You know, 432 is, of course, leading the pack. They're working out, they're exercising, trying to get their body strong for tug of war. And then game time comes up. They head to the game room. There's 8 numbers laid out in front of them, and they are asked to form lines. 8 different lines and grouped together. So the teams are formed, and the roster for the first round, it's number 3 versus number 1. Number 1's team is 432's team. So the team that probably nobody would have wanted, you know? And I was just like, darn, if it was tug of war, 432's team was stacked. They had a ton of strong people. They are then led into the great game room, and guess what? It was not tug of war. It was warship. So battleship, I guess, depending on where you are. And I was dying. I was laughing so hard because everybody was going on the assumption that Braun was going to win this, but strategy was the one that was going to win this in the end. So the instructions were everybody should pick up a captain. The first one, 337, was picked. And then on 432's team, 220 was picked. She was just yapping about how she had played the game just last week with her brother. She plays the game all the time and everything. So she was picked for captains. Then the captains had to pick their lieutenant. To win, a captain must find missiles in the opposing team, fire missiles at the opponent. Oh my God, I can't speak. At the opposing team and sink 2 ships. Players are eliminated when the entire ship is sunk. So if it's a 5-player boat, and 3 are hit, but the remaining 2 survive, the 3 that were hit will survive. So everybody on the boat has to have been hit for everybody to be eliminated. The first captain to sink 2 ships wins. The losing captain not only loses the eliminated players, but they go down with the eliminated players. So the game starts, and blue was first back, and then they go back and forth. Red gets 1 of blue's ships. Blue gets 1 of red ship, so they're tied, one for 1. It's neck and neck, but red eventually gets blue when they get their 2-man boat. The 2-man boat was one that contained 432, and that's how 432 was eliminated, people. Like, I did not see that coming at all. I thought that he would have been eliminated in, like, you know, an advantage kind of situation where another player would eliminate him. I never thought that he would go during a game, a prize match. I was shook. And I was like, who am I going to dislike now? He was a lightning rod for villain, you know? And it wasn't like I disliked him, but he was the standout for the villain of the show. So if anything happened, we could blame him, you know? So I was like, who am I going to dislike now? There was nobody left to dislike in the crew. The next group goes, 182 leads his group to victory with 4 of his team players on the line. And this team had 302, Mama's crew, and 301. Obviously, mother and son always go together. But 182 led them to victory with no casualty. They didn't lose anybody from their team, which was kind of nice for them. Next, number 18 is some kind of child prodigy, and she cleanly takes out the red team's 5-man boat, and then a 3-man boat. She also did not have any casualties on her team. Last team to go, the red was first to sink the 2-man boat. Blue took the red's 5-man boat. They were neck and neck, but blue eventually won with a 3-man boat sink. And the winning play was strategized by 232, the old timer who was on the blue team. He was the one who told them aim for this number, and that was what sunk the red team ship. So if you go back to the original Squid Games, in the tug of war series, number one, the old timer in that one was the one who gave them the strategy to lean back so that they had enough like ground to hold their opponents and pull them, winning the tug of war match in that. So it was kind of, they kind of made it like, it was definitely produced, I get it, but I liked the reference. It was like the old man won the tug of war for his crew, and the old man in this won warship for his crew. So I liked it. I thought it was a very good nod to the OG series. So the game is over. The results are in. Players went down from 118 to 73. And the prize money went up from $3.38 to $3.8 million. Then another side game is brought into the dorms, and the announcer tells them that 2 elimination tests will happen before the next prize, like the next game. The tests will be in the dorm where everybody can see. The first test was that everybody would have to vote for players to be eliminated. 3 players with the most votes will be eliminated. And that's where episode 3 ended. But yeah, it was getting good. And this was like, this psych test is where you actually get to see people's nature and how people think. You get to see where strategies come into play with who is being chosen for whatever advantage or elimination that's on the table. And you just get to see who's willing to backstab or just play the game, you know? And I loved it. But like, subscribe so you are informed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.